This is Weird Renegade Witches Blog. Hit us up when you want some real motherfucking work done. Of course, lessons are going to start next week. Remember, once a month lessons. I have different frequencies going on. I'm going to let you guys know basically this weekend or maybe sometime this week what the lessons are going to be. But as you know, I do the one-on-one lessons that I work with people personally in reference to their work, their life, their frequencies, where they want to go, their movements and more. And as you already know, I'm about that spell work, and I work with individuals separately with spell work and more, or if we're doing one-on-one lessons that we're personally working with each other. Of course, that's a different frequency, but understand the once a month lessons is something different. It's like I said, it's just to get your feet wet, just to kind of do some things for giggles and laughs, of course. And as you already know, we have Blogtalkradio, but that's just old shows, but you could go back and listen to the old shows. But again, Wayward is about that revenge, redemption, responsibility, and art is occultism. Occultism is an art, and you already know Wayward is about that urban voodooism, as we may call it. You guys try to figure what the hell does she do? Occultism, that is. It's so much shit to talk about. I'm going to be all over the place. So what it is, what it is, what it ain't. So I'm going to talk about hella shit. And I'm just going to go through different shit and talk about it without even it being in order. Because I don't give a fuck what you think. So, or how it doesn't make sense. Right? Anyways, there's a lot of frequencies been going on in the universal. So I be trying to come back and do a video for you guys, but I can't because there's so much shit hitting. I see that brick bitch. She was up there lying like a motherfucker. You know, the one that was over there in that damn Texas, that Houston. I told you guys it was something weird about that girl. I said she around all them Haitians, and then turn around to find out her ass is lying. I don't know if she's Somalian, but then let alone, I understand there is a community of Somalians, but goddamn, she was on some whole business. That you guys look at her videos, they said she shot Saline on the side of her face. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Now you have everybody on social media talking shit. Black people are mad at the white people talking shit because, you know, white people nosy anyway and they love busting out black people. Then you got black men saying, damn, look at her. We want to protect you, but we can't protect you because we have lying ass bitches like this. Look, in this type of world and society, you are going to be urban voodooed. So for you people who always get on the fucking bandwagon, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this frequency is. Social media is laughter and a joke because it is cyber magic. It doesn't matter if it's on the news. It doesn't matter if it's coming from the White House. It doesn't matter if it's on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever. It's a joke. This shit, people are not real out here, right? People want attention. They want to clout chase. They want to influence. They want to cyber magic you. They want to put you under cyber voodoo. They want to play games. They want to spoof you, right? And you guys go for anything because you guys are childlike. That lockup got you guys as children. They really put you guys under the Mad Hatter spell, didn't they? They really caused you to go insane with that. What's it called? Dementia. Was it precox? Look that shit up with your schizophrenia asses. You don't know if you're coming or going. We have to say at the top of the videos now, this is for educational purposes, because you know they're going around deleting people's energy. They're meaning by on social media what you talk about, if it's educational, non-educational, if they agree or disagree. I've been hearing so much shit about individuals putting up some real motherfucking history about black people, whatever you want to call yourself, African people, copper people, indigenous people, the real motherfucking people. They're having a big issue. The white folks are basically in their fancy pants because they don't want you to tell the real shit. They want to, kind of sour it down, right? So let me just go through some shit, because I'm just talking here, and let's have a fucking conversation. What's going on in this urban voodooism, in this witchery, in this bewitchery, in these frequencies, in this cyber magic, right? Spirit gossip. Let's go. NASA up here lying like a motherfucker, allegedly. People are questioning NASA and what is in the universal soul. What are these planets? People are saying that we cannot leave Earth because we are surrounded by some kind of hemisphere, as they call it, right? Meaning everything they show us in NASA really comes from the Hollywood screens and green screens and more. And they were talking about a lot of things that we see is done underwater. And I'm like, what? They were trying to have an intellectual hearing. And I was hearing some of the people from NASA say they are removing conspiracy, meaning you can't have thoughts. You can't have an opinion. You can't think outside of anything else but what we tell you. So on the panel, the individual said, data proves non-conspiracy. So therefore, they want to feed you information and you are supposed to receive it and believe it as so. But I was like, wow, I didn't even know they had NASA hearings and conventions and, and so on. So I was listening to some of the white folks ask questions. I didn't understand what they were talking about. It was above my pay grade, And I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? So then you start getting individuals, and I don't know if these were two different hearings. You had one woman trying to ask the, intellectual what she was asking, talking about in the DOD and, and she was very tight-lipped. In the DOD, how they get, you do a D. And so I was like, what the fuck is she talking about? So then that's when I understood what NASA was saying. And NASA was saying that they want to take away your thought process. So I said, well, damn. So let me understand. There is the religion of science. Then there's the spirit of science, right? So the religion of science wants to recreate everything from AIs to the solar system, to the planets, to what they tell you. They want to tell you that we have aliens, which is alleged, which we don't. You guys think they're aliens, but they're not. They want to tell you they're flying saucers and stuff like that. Then I start tripping on fashion. I said, well, damn, wait a minute. Derby hats, top hats, and sombreros, small sombreros, all look like fucking flying saucers. If you look at them, I said, so what's the connection with that? What it is, what it ain't. I'm just all over the place, right? So then I'm like, what the fuck is going on in this universal? So I started thinking about hats. And the reason why I started thinking about hats, because all of a sudden I'm thinking about Erykah Badu. And I said, she be wearing them interesting hats, right? So then I'm like, and they sure do look like rockets or, spaceships and flying saucers. And so the religion of science want to make us think that this is the last days, because I knew it was something wrong. Because I said, wait a minute. Why are we in the seventh seal? We are not in the seventh seal yet. We are technically in the fifth and sixth seal if we want to play games with Revelations. So I said, so what they're doing is they're antichristing us. They're cybering us. They up here recreating what they want us to believe. So that is why we have to have discernment. But if you take away the church, you won't understand discernment. You won't understand what things are because it is not explained to you. It will be explained to you through science, which science is a religion, because again, it takes away the conspiracy, because a conspiracy is backed up by spirit, because it makes you think, it makes you understand certain energies that are going on. It will be like, that don't sound right, right? But if we are able to remove spirit and give you science and tell you what it is, then that replaces anything, any thought process that you may have. So right now, this is what, so in the word, if you really understand, this is what the spirit is talking about. The fake antichrist, the Libyan energy, and technically that's been going on since 2011. So we don't know what we're looking at. We don't know if we're really looking at the floods that really happened now, or was it something that was happening through the years? And everybody is talking about ever since that what happened with Gaddafi and so on. It's been hell ever since, and that country wasn't equipped for certain energy. Then you got Morocco with that interesting earthquake that seemed out of the ordinary, but they're all underground doing all type of shit. Because in our minds, we'll think, no, human beings could never have the power. But maybe it's not about power. It's about the religion of science. See, the problem is that we don't know what the fuck these people are doing out here. They go to all these countries. They be underground. They up there messing with the universal soul. They have all these fucking satellites. They're doing all these building. We don't pay attention to stuff. And remember, we were locked down for a minute, so a whole bunch of shit came out of that. They're recreating the whole Revelations energy. So you're going to have a bunch of people out here that was under the church is going to think this is the end of times. The apocalypse is coming. And a twinkle of the eye, we're going to be gone. Yeah, it is a twinkle of the eye. The aliens is picking up people, and they're going to put y'all in a flying saucer somewhere. You know what I mean? Then y'all not going to know what's going to happen, because y'all going to be in a concentration camp over there in that good FEMA, and they're going to have your black asses quarantined, and you will be thinking your uncle then went to heaven. That nigga over there in the damn quarantine somewhere. Shit. Y'all stop playing with these people when they tell you a twinkle of the eye, your ass going to be up out your house because God done chose you. Nah, y'all going to be in a damn FEMA camp in New York, Chicago, and Detroit somewhere. Stop playing. Shit, you hear the shit going on in that goddamn New York. They played y'all like a motherfucker. That shit been going on for a year and more. And the bigger courts push that down. They want to sit up and come to your goddamn house and then sit up and say you sick and shit because all you have is syphilis or gonorrhea and whatever, and say you are just a contagious, and then go put you up in somebody quarantine, have you isolated like you in fucking China and shit, and bringing that Chinese culture, that Asian culture over here, and have you all locked up and confined, and you don't know what the fuck is going on. So you could be a Mad Hatter, and then after that, you like, well, goddamn, then you up there being a damn test dummy. Most of it's going to be people of color, and then what they going to do, all them, them immigrants that they lying talking about, they migrants, all them motherfuckers, they gonna have them with jobs and shit, and they gonna come to your goddamn house. You open your door, it's their asses, and you like, I'm not going any fucking where. You think it's the U.S. military? Hell nah, it's third world motherfuckers. They don't give a fuck about you. They come grabbing your black ass up out your goddamn house, and you like, well, shit, what the fuck is going on? And they like, come on. And you hearing shit, they sound like, I've never heard these type of Latin people. What the fuck? They don't sound like Puerto Ricans to me, because they not motherfuckers. They from Ecuador, Venezuela, and from somewhere else. Shit. Then you go to the damn quarantine camps, there'll be a whole bunch of Chinese men up in there. You like, well, where y'all come from? Well, They lost us on the way. So you saw us one minute, then we was hiding, and then we had to train them, and then they trained us. So we're here in the concentration camps waiting for your black asses, and then your science people up here playing around with them drones. So we're going to have them drones flying over you guys so we can pick up any type of infections or whatever you may have, so we can come and quarantine you. And we're going to make sure that we attach everything to your identification, because you think you're going to run, but you're not going to be able to run. You're not going to be able to do shit, okay? Because then when you think you have a gas vehicle, meaning, regular gas, you go to the gas and you get gas. We're going to mix it with diesel so you just get stuck. And matter of fact, we want all that shit to go. And we just going to have them automatic cars, and we could just stop the shit right in the middle of the street and you ain't going to go anywhere. Is that what's happening in the universal soul, right? Okay. Meanwhile, in damn Seattle, they on trains, they're talking in their news reports that they up there have fentanyl, methyl, whatever is going on, methyl, whatever, fentanyl, and I don't know, some other drugs that's all in their train system. If I could find it, I'll read it. I was like, God damn. Have y'all been listening to this old information coming up from this journalist? And I was telling someone, I said, you know what? They have gotten rid of the journalists. And it is for a reason. When you look at these podcasts and you look at people, I'm just giving an example, Tasha K and people like, on these talk shows and more. These are not journalists. These are just regular Joe Schmo people. And I gave somebody an idea. And I say, hey, maybe the reason why they're getting rid of journalists, because journalists are under a code and they cannot divulge their sources, or they can't tell their sources. So therefore, what you do is get rid of journalism, don't hire them, replace them with regular ass people who don't have a degree behind journalism, who don't know anything about journalism. Then you can, report, give them anything you want to give them. They cannot sit up there and say, under this amendment, we can reveal our sources. And I thought about that because I told this person, I said, I went to school for journalism. I was going to get my master's in journalism. And I said, and that's why now I'm doing what I'm doing. But I have to look at the spiritual game behind it and how people manipulate stuff. So I get the whole thing of reality television. Reality television replaced the real deal so they can get away with a whole bunch of bullshit, especially with journalism. However, that taps back into social media, as in Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, whatever, and you may have your own little shit going on, right? So then you're getting these new type of people that's saying, get rid of all that, and then censoring what you have to say. So therefore, like what I'm doing, they'll say, well, that's not journalism. Well, technically it is, because I went to school for journalism. So you're not supposed to, censor what I'm saying, because I have a degree and something behind it, especially if you went to school for communications. However, because these people don't know who is who and what is what, then it's easier for them to censor you. You see what I mean? So when you have reality energy, that's what's happening. And then they'll say, well, that doesn't make sense. No, it makes a lot of sense. That's why the real deal have been replaced. That's why they have put this down energy on education, right? So anyway, I was looking at this energy, and what was his name? Oh gosh, I don't even have his name is Phil. His name is Phil Goloski? So Phil Goloski apparently was on social media talking about different people who've been executed allegedly. So we're going to say allegedly, and this is for educational purposes. So anyway, Phil Goloski was basically being interrogated. And it looked like Phil Goloski, and I'm pronouncing his name wrong, but what it is, what it ain't, looked like he had an attorney sitting next to him. And I don't know what type of CIA games is going on here, but he had a hat on, and the hat said Maui. That is very interesting because, you know, the shit that happened in Maui. So always understand they're always going to cyber magic you, and they're always going to let you know what's happening beforehand. Just like when we saw Chris Rock and coming from Burning Man, and he was in the back of the truck, and he had on, what is it, a New York Nets? I don't know, a New York jacket, old school, right? And they made sure to hone in to New York. The next thing you know, the allegedly Hurricane Lee, you better watch out. We don't know what's going to happen in the East. New York, you better watch out. Then the next thing you know, they coming out with this quarantine shit. And then the whole big shit about the immigrants. Your damn mayor, they want him out of office because he's all in his feelings, lying now, talking about he's mad at Texas for sending all these damn immigrants. It's changed the tone of New York. No, that did not change the tone of New York. You changed the tone of New York when you created and pushed in these gentrifiers that got into the neighborhoods, pretended just to be part of the neighborhood, but then became Puerto Rican and they're white. They said, we're the culture, and they just pushed out everything. Then they purposely redlined properties so people couldn't buy. Some people sold their properties. Then you may have sold your brownstone for one amount, but then what they did, your investors came in and basically renovated, and now it's 14 mil. Come on. What happened? But let alone you redline, but then you pay people nickel and dimes to try to live, and then they can't afford their shit. Who knows? Anyway, he was under, I'm assuming, investigation. He was being interrogated. And apparently he reported some shit that these people may have been executed or under the death penalty. And apparently, I guess there's a law, and if anybody who knows law, anytime that you commit crimes against humanity, that's a firing squad, allegedly, from what this person in this interview, in this investigation, was talking about. He was being interrogated. I'm telling a story, so I don't want to hear no shit from, oh God, what's she talking? No, you guys can look it up, look him up, right? So we don't know if this is true. Giggles and laughs. We don't know if this is true, but I'm just telling you the story. So apparently he's saying under, if like, for example, Joe Biden, they asked him, they said, you stated Joe Biden has been taken out, in so many words, by a firing squad. He was dead serious. He said yes. They asked him, well, when was he taken out? In 2019. Why? Crimes against humanity. Who called for it to happen? Donald Trump. What about Hillary Clinton? The same thing. She was arrested in the firing squad. So that he asked the person who was questioning him, asked him in both cases, then who in the fuck are we looking at? He said, well, those could be body doubles and they could be clones. He said, but Hillary Clinton is a body double. Biden is a body double, I think. I said, Lord have mercy. What? Well, this is all conspiracy, right? But this is on social media where you can listen to this shit. So it's not like it's not out there. It's not like it's a lie. I'm just talking, right? So I said, oh, Lord. Then they asked him about Fauci. He said, well, I don't know about Fauci, but he is on trial right now. I said, what? I said, but that Joe Biden shit matches what is going on now. It matches to what the conspiracy theorists, they are saying by September of this month or whenever, they gonna say that man is a dead allegedly. This is what's going on. They're gonna what the fuck is going on here? I've never seen or heard this kind of mess before, right? And then one person saying then Kamala Harris gonna come in, they're gonna do all this shit, and then that man will be gone. So anyway, they asked a question, well, when was Hillary Clinton arrested or whatever? In 2018, on December 31st of 2018. I said, that fucking, what's his name? Young Pharaoh. That nigga was right. Goddamn Virgo. It's just a fact. They were feeding him the information. But Trump was supposed to win the second round. And they intervened and they was giving him information so people can comprehend what the hell is going on. So when young Pharaoh, I'm going to have to give it to the boy. They was feeding him information. I wasn't trying to listen. It is my fault because, I was being biased against Virgos, okay? And he was in his emotions too much. But now I'm going to listen to some Virgos, okay? Because, I said he was fucking right. They was feeding him information all along. Now it's coming out years later, a minute later, that this is what was going on. So would that make sense to when they kept saying allegedly Hillary Clinton was harming children? Isn't that crimes against humanity? Wouldn't that make sense why Oprah never left her backyard and she had a ankle bracelet on, and this new Oprah has no fucking sense? So did she go under the firing squad? Is that why we don't see her and Gayle King together? Allegedly. We just talking, right? We don't know what's real out here. You know me, I'm just a Cancer. I'm just trying to figure it out. I'm just under occultism, right? So then I'm like, what? What? And you wonder, why is this important? Because this is the fake government, right? Because then I'm like, well, it is true. There is no more United States government. And who bought the United States? It has, and we've been arguing. Some people think it's, China, Asians. Some people think it's India. I think it's India, personally, especially some of the energies that's been going on. It is very clear America don't own America anymore. It's very clear. Now I'm convinced. I don't know who is in that Joe Biden. Maybe it's an Indian guy. I don't know. We just talking, right? So anyway, let's go back to my drama field energy. So then I was like, what? So the guy, Phil Dulesky, he's saying Hillary Clinton was taken out by a firing squad. Again, for the same energy, crimes against humanity. And then apparently he was saying, I don't know and I couldn't hear exactly everything he was saying. He said something about Kabbalah or some kind of group behind the group. Okay? Anyway, I was like, meaning we have, you guys are into, what's his name? That, Goss, what is it? Goss Squash, Schwab, whatever, that guy, and Bill Gates. You guys keep talking about them, and Elon Musk. Those are minions. There's people behind them and them behind them. That's what they're talking about. They were asking Phil Gillespie about the Secretary of Defense. Did the Secretary of Defense know about any of this? He like, shit, I don't know. Shit, I'm just a journalist. He kept trying to go around the block, up the street to get his sources. He said, I'm a journalist. I'm covered by the amendment, blah, 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 right? So again, he was asked about Fauci. What it is, what it ain't with him. We don't know. I said, but why would Fauci allegedly be on a trial for crimes against humanity? But y'all think, But this is the one that I almost hollered, but I'm not shocked, right? We just gossiping. We just spirit gossiping. We just talking conspiracy theory. We just talking Phil Gillespie, okay? The investigator, or whoever this person is, asked him, then what about Gavin Newsom? You know, that's the governor of California, right? Old mayor of San Francisco, right? And whatever else. He said, oh, he committed suicide. He killed himself. I said, bitch. People were laughing at me when I said, that is not Gavin Newsom. I said, Gavin Newsom has severe dyslexia. People with dyslexia cannot stand there and read a teleprompter. They'll fuck up. And the guy said, wait a minute, so you're saying that Gavin Newsom committed suicide? Allegedly. And the guy says, yes. I said, y'all don't know if this is true. I'm just reporting what I heard on social media. That's the source. What the fuck is going on here? What is going on in this universal soul? What the fuck are they trying to hide from us that they are creating and going to the extent to create these little towns at what they call allegedly as smart cities? What are they trying to hide from us? Why are they trying to put us under quarantine in the Truman Show? Why are they trying to censor us? Why are they trying to hide history? Why are they trying to digitalize every fucking thing? Why are they trying to get rid of cash money? Why are they trying to recreate religion? Why are they scaring people so? I told somebody, and I tell people, I said, when you die and leave this earth and you looking from the other side, you're going to be mad as fuck. You're going to be mad that you didn't live your life. You're going to be mad that you've been under the Hive effect, bitch. They asked him about John McCain. He said, oh, he was put to death, allegedly. Andrew Cuomo, oh no. He got convicted under pedophilia and trafficking, allegedly. He asked him about the Las Vegas shooting. He said, oh no, that wasn't real. That Mandalay Day or Bay? Bitch, look it up. Trump met allegedly with Brazil, China, and and I'm gonna say the Middle East. And he knew, that's how Trump knew exactly what was going on and was trying to drop lugs on motherfuckers, allegedly. He asked him about Tom Hanks. He said, oh no, he's been executed. Crimes against humanity, allegedly. I said, I told people, and then I got a motherfucker trying to text me talking shit like I'm crazy. But I am. I'm a mad hatter. They said they said billionaires, CEOs, government, military is running. We don't know who these people are. Makes you wonder about some of them billionaires that exploded. They get into accidents. That's what happened with the Titanic, right? It was a whole bunch of billionaires and millionaires that just sunk, right? Meanwhile, they say when you go down into the water, when they were trying to do the, I guess, get the bodies or whatever, they said there wasn't any bodies. There was nothing there. I said, how is it thousands of people died and you can't find a body of the first? And when I'm talking about the Vegas shooting, I'm talking about the one that they shot into the concert, allegedly. This is why they was trying to sue Alex Jones. Because, he's a prop up. A lot of the militias don't like him. But he's the same thing like young Pharaoh. They funnel information to him. Just like he telling you about the whoop wop. That's supposed to be, they trying to go back into the energies again. Okay? And somebody was telling me about in Louisiana, a spiritual constituent was saying how, they masked up in Louisiana. And somebody was telling me that, her sister, her mother, and herself got the whoop wop. And her sister and mother were medicated. But they didn't give her the medicine. But allegedly, she said that she took her mother's medicine and some interesting things happened. And allegedly, in the medicine, it had an interesting PCP ingredient in it. Allegedly. And not giving medical advice, we just talking. I'll let you guys sit on that for a minute and put the dots together if you can. There's a lot of shit going on out here. Then everybody all in their pants because in October, the United States going to call you on a phone or something going. Well, turn your phone off. You see it? Turn that shit off. I don't know what to say. I don't know. Y'all out here scared on some shit. I had someone say to me that they used to work for a cell phone company, and we were talking about Maui, and he was talking about what happened in Maui. He said, those people didn't burn from the outside in, we'll say. He said it was the inside out. He said the fires didn't start from the outside. He said it started from the inside out. An electrical fire. I said, okay. Okay. He said, but he said, have you peeped how they have all these 5Gs? I'm like, yeah. He said, notice how ever since they have the 5G poles, the weather been changing. He said, I'm just talking. I'm just saying conspiracy. He said, have you noticed that you get hot from the inside? And how that's connected of being hot from the inside out? I said, yeah, like nuclear. Exactly. You just talking, right? You got people up here saying Nancy Pelosi is on her way out. That's not really Nancy Pelosi, right? We already know about McConnell and Feinstein. Right? Did y'all see that shit with the UK? In the UK with the Indian choking the fuck out the black woman because she went into the hair store asking for her money back because the hair wasn't good, and she was asking for a refund, and she got into a disagreement with the I guess the owner, and the owner said she was aggressive, but we see on the video she was never aggressive. And so he became aggressive with her, trying to put her up out. And then she tried to protect herself. And then he went and choked her. I said, oh, here we go. And then you have racist and discriminatory ass motherfuckers always want to talk about what the fuck black people are doing and talk about that black people was stealing. No, she wasn't stealing. She wanted a refund. And I'm getting a little sick and tired of these motherfuckers out here that you can't speak your voice. You can't raise your voice now. Somebody tried that with me in DMV, talking about you need to lower your voice. I said, fuck no. I'm speaking stern. People are so concerned being on video because they worry about their characters. Fuck your character. You are letting these people get away with too much murder. They think they can choke and put hands on you, especially when you're a black woman. They for sure think they can put their hands on you now. Well, black men, they feel ain't gonna do shit for you. So if you raise your voice, we just gonna come fuck you up. That's third world energy. I just thought about when the Asian people were doing it, especially the Koreans was beating ass, and the nail people, that's third world energy. Now you have third world people beating the fuck out of somebody if they steal or chasing them down. Hell nah. You can't hold people hostage and start fighting them, because if you put your hands on them, I don't care if they are stealing. Sometimes you just gotta let them do what they're gonna do. But if you put your hands on them, that's still a lawsuit. Right? I've also been peeping some energies. I'm wondering, are people under the Church of God and Restoration, which is out of Greenville, Ohio? And they believe that they can rewrite the Bible. They are the 12 apostles. I listened to this. They can take away your salvation. You can lay all your burdens down. I'm sure you guys seen this whole energy. And I found it very interesting, right? I found it interesting because they on to something. If you can literally go in there and say, I could take away your salvation, I could rewrite this, I'm the 12 apostles, then what is the Bible? How can we talk? I'm just saying, if we're under the energies of Jay-Z, how can we talk about Jay-Z? Then they're right. Right? You can rewrite anything. You can create your own frequency. You say, follow behind me, right? So I started thinking, I said, what is going on out here? Then that's when I really started to understand, no, Freemasonry has nothing to do with the Illuminati. The Illuminati has everything to do with Aleister Crowley. That effect. But what the fuck is Aleister Crowley on? Then you tap into Jay-Z, as they call Hav. I call it the Hav effect. So you have this whole energy of certain youths and people who's under the Hav effect, which is the Aleister Crowley energy, which taps back into the Illuminati, which taps back into different specters and pieces of the Scottish rites and so on. So then we have all this energy under Freemasonry that's confusing. And in reality, the energies of Freemasonry is still dealing with a form of spirituality. But then you have all of this energy under here. You have, of course, the Scottish Rite. Then you have the different energies of what they call the Raised Master Mason, Royal Arc Mason, the super excellent Master, and then the Knights of Templar. So all of that is mixed together in one gumbo pot, right? Because nowadays we don't have people wanting to get into Freemasonry like they used to. That's because they're under a different effect. They're under the Hav effect. Who would have known there was more to the Eastern Stars, or they call the links? Who would have known that they have something called the Rainbows and the Triangle Girls and Job's Daughters? Okay, who would have known? Right? So we have all these energies going on out here and all these sectors of people and things, but it's all like a gumbo pot. And then we get all confused, like who is who, what is what, Freemasons. No, put Freemasons here. They're over here. Because Freemasons are still dealing with spirituality. They still dealing with David and Solomon. Aleister Crowley ain't dealing with that. Hav is not dealing with that. Illuminati is not dealing with that. Okay? Then when you get into all this Scottish rites and all that other energy, and it intertwines it. So there's a lot of confusion going on out here. Right? Like, for example, I was listening to Scar Lip on her live. They got that girl fucked up. She don't know if she's coming or going. But I'm going to tell you something. She's schizophrenic, allegedly. That girl has a mental disorder. And she zones in and out. And I was listening to her. And she was saying, God is love. God is love, right? And I said, hold on, what is that? But you got to remember, God is different from Jesus. Jesus never said he loved you, right? So who is this deity that they fucking with that tells them that there's love, right? So I had to go back and look at some energies. And apparently, under Freemasonry, there is 11th commandment. So we understand about the 10th commandment, but there's an 11th commandment. And it says, a new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another as I loved you, that ye also love one another. Okay? That's what all that shit is. Even goes back to, Bob Marley, One Love, and all this shit. Because this is the 11th commandment. Just like there's a second set of amendments that they call the secret amendments that we don't know about, right? So then I'm like, what? So, okay, so we understand we under a certain frequency here, and they pick and choose what they want to use, right? So then I just started looking further, and I said, hold on. There's a deity that they call a heathen god. And when you look at the heathen god looked like those Egyptian gods that they use. I said, this makes a lot of sense. We under a fucking heathen god. God damn it, we bunch of Gentiles. Technically, black people, we're not the Gentiles. These people are the Gentiles. The Gentiles are separate. They're heathens. There's a heathen God. And when you start to look at the energy, it's a principal persona. And it's under the energies of Adam, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. What the fuck is going on here? We have different energies of ghosts. The Syrian goat. Makes you wonder why some of them be up there having sex with them ghosts under their fucking bestiality and shit, right? And mountain goats of Palestine. Whoa. So there's a whole, and the rabbit is considered a form of or the hare is considered a form of wealth. There's so much shit out here that we can't even comprehend. But I can guarantee you right now we are no longer under Freemasonry type of frequency, because under the Freemason frequency, defense of democracy in the land of liberty. What? The land of liberty? Man. Right? So when I really started thinking about the Hav effect, I said, that makes a lot of sense to why they created that Hav shit for Jay-Z. Because this nigga think he's Clarence Avant. We have to go back and listen to Jaguar Wright. I understand she's a Taurus and she's in her energies, and I've talked shit, but something popped up where she was talking about the murder of, I think it's Jacqueline Avant, and the energies of Clarence Avant, which they called him the Black Godfather, right? And they were saying that he didn't want to step down from it, and she said that he was drugged up. Some people saying he had Alzheimer's. Who knows? But whatever it is, there's a connection to this. And I said, so you telling me that nigga Jay-Z allegedly gonna have this thing called the Book of Clarence, and this man name is Clarence? That is fucked up. You see what I mean? So that's the same energy of the Church of God of Restoration. No, you support me. I'm your God. I lay all your burdens down on me. I could take away your salvation, basically the flesh, right? There is no spirit. I am. There ain't no spirit. There ain't no 12 apostles. There ain't none of that, because I'm that. This is what we're walking into in this universal soul. I was looking at Macy Gray, and I've come to the conclusion that Macy Gray, I don't know if they have her in a psych ward. I don't know what's going on with Macy Gray. She was in studio and she had on these interesting looking pants. I said, what? And I was looking at how she was moving and her energies. I said, does she have autism? Have we been sitting up here listening to an autistic woman? And she was just very, it was weird. Her energy was, the frequencies was off, right? And they were asking her questions. And I said, why are they asking Macy Gray all these goddamn questions? But she was supposed to, and she's always in the studio around 1:00 in the morning, and she pops up on social media live. And she's, in there with these younger people that look like Gen Zs. So, but her whole energy, it seems like that's the time they let her out the psych ward. Like, okay, she's been in here all day. Okay, now we're going to let her out. Because her clothes, the second time I seen her, she had on the same fucking clothes. We got to wonder about what the fuck is going on in this universal soul. Right? Anyway, then on social media, you have this energy of lies. This is why I said cyber magic. So you had this hard looking, lesbian looking woman Looked like she was biracial with lighter eyes, tattoos on her face, thin, and looked like a dude. And they had her in a black top and she kept looking at something. She was trying to give an alleged warning to suburban or rich kids to watch themselves and to get off of that social media and get out into the universal soul, because people are watching them, and basically they're the ones that are being that the traffickers are trying to kidnap. They don't want the kids in the hood. They don't want the ghetto kids. They want them, and blah 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 blah. I said that bitch is lying like fucks. She gonna have all these hood kids, not tripping, not watching their circles and shit around them. It is the hood kids they're fucking kidnapping and stealing. Just in Milwaukee, I don't know how old this story is, but apparently there's 3 siblings that have been kidnapped. I don't even know if they found them. They've been looking for these 3 siblings. A brother and 2 sisters. In Milwaukee, there's been all type of kidnappings. I'm like, well, shit. You telling me this woman who's been orchestrated, who looked like she was in prison, and they went and put some clothes on her and told her to make that public announcement for hood kids. Don't worry, they don't want you. They don't want your eyes, your organs, or nothing like that. They want the rich white kids. Bullshit. Though, isn't it weird how the police been stopping young black boys and following them and harassing them? You don't think it's weird? You don't think it's weird that all of a sudden more and more black kids are being kidnapped? You don't think it's interesting how more and more girls between the age of 13 through 25 is just disappearing? You don't think it's weird how black men are just disappearing, like the brother that allegedly just disappeared off the damn ship? Or people or black men who live in apartment buildings just end up kidnapped? You don't think it's weird? Was it whatever happened with the brother in Chicago, and he was found in the water and their organs are just being taken out? I'm asking questions about this. So you going to put up a black woman who looked like she's in prison so she can tell black people, don't worry, we don't want you. We want the rich white kids. Stop playing. Are we going to ask questions about the Chinese man who went and put that good syringe under those people's apartments and poisoned the fuck out of them? What is that leading into? Remember that story? I have questions about that. That's dangerous. Do you know that can get rid of a whole neighborhood and more, a whole apartment building? Do you know if people will not move out the apartment building, if they want to renovate it and have increased the rent, you just go to each apartment building and put a poison allegedly underneath the door? That's chemical warfare. That's warlock energy. That's a witch doctor energy. It's all type of bewitchery. You have this Asian man going on a Carolina campus shooting. Okay. And wasn't it a Chapel Hill where black people, back in the day used to live? But again, we don't have questions on how that Asian man that was connected to allegedly to Wuhan, a chemist, in a syringe shooting poison. That was a social experiment for a bigger picture, you best believe. Because they over here, burning shit down, doing all this, that's going to get played out. Now we can do chemical warfare on your ass. Getting a whole bunch of people in one place and pulling it. What was that? And the guy said they were taken sick in the house. That was a social experiment. I can imagine the end game. So again, are we still not going to talk about Biden's impeachment? Las Vegas alleged cyber attack, right? We're not going to talk about that. Are we going to talk about what happened in the Bronx with the child care and a 1-year-old dying because some fentanyl was brought into the child care with them babies? Are we going to talk about that one? Are we going to talk about the 5 or 6-year-old young child, the baby that was in handcuffs? Are we going to talk about what's going on in Louisiana with Angola with the teen boys in jail with grown men? The same thing happened in Michigan, and the boy was being raped over and over again, the young man, and the guards told him to get used to it. Are we going to talk about that? Everybody been talking about Tory Lanez and his bail hearing. My question is this: he's been convicted. Why in the fuck would he have a bail hearing? What type of bewitchery is that? You want to know some bewitchery? Chrisean. I don't know what the fuck is going on with Chrisean, and I am so sick and tired of you lame ass people out here riding with her. I don't ride for Chrisean. That's lame as fuck. I ride with who I ride with, but there's some weird shit going on. Now they're out here talking about those people in Maryland allegedly really not her family. Her family she's really biracial. And the godparents of her child are these people, are her parents. Did they get rid of the old one? I'm trying to understand what's going on. How in the fuck do you just have a baby, but you have a ritualized baptism? And I'm like, was the father there? How do you have a baptism without the father? Who, what? What church is this? What fake makeshift church does that? That ain't no church. That was a cult. That's not real. And I didn't see water the first. The other part of it is when she was in the hospital, I told you shit didn't make sense when Chrisean was in the hospital. Did you see how she was holding the baby like a fucking football? And the baby was making fake noises? That wasn't even a real baby. Did you see her body? Are you guys going to tell me that her body just bounced back? None of it makes sense. And you got niggas out here making excuses talking about, well, old school say that you in the house. Yes. You heathens. That whole Chrisean shit is a big lie. And I'm not going for it. But my question is, what the fuck they about to do with Blueface, though? I hope he don't end up in Malibu in a fucking barrel, allegedly naked. That shit with Mena is on cap shit now. Now we get the whole story. That had nothing to do with why she got arrested, Bambi got arrested, those other 2 people got arrested, and why in the hell Saucy Santana was booking up out that club. It had nothing to do with it. Those were 2 different issues. We get Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. You fired this girl from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. You fire her from her Tubi jobs. Y'all would sit up here and say she has a spiritual and a occult. No, this was practical. This had nothing to do with spiritual. It was whack as fuck. They sacrificed that girl. Safari and all of them sacrificed Erica. I don't care how much Erica is a hoe. Are you guys going to tell me that Spice was right? How do you bring in her son? They're having the conversation. Spice hit below the belt by bringing her son. You can't say shit to Spice about her fucking kids. How do you come in? And I'm going to tell you the way she reacted, it must be true. It must be true. Right? But I know how it is when you're in conflict with your children and somebody knows you're in conflict with your children and they bring up the bad blood between you and your kid. You will snap the fuck off because you love your kid. Right? And you know you done fucked up somewhere. But when you hit below the belt, you gonna get fucked up and you gonna get told on. I'm gonna keep it real. Spice would have been all type of monkey bitch, chimpanzees, and any fucking else, and the table would have been upside her head. Now that's the fucking truth, and we need to stop playing out here. If somebody attacks your kid, you gonna say anything. And I'm saying it as a black woman. Stop playing. Nah, Erica Mena need her job back, because now here's the true story. The true story is Spice was wrong as fuck. She attacked that woman over her kid. How is that right? And people, oh no, you don't call a black woman a monkey because it's discriminatory. You don't give a fuck, because you know behind closed doors you calling all type of black people monkey this and a monkey that and monkey nigga. Fuck that monkey ass nigga. Stop playing. Okay? And I know for sure Erica Mena is one of them. She probably said it to Safari's face, you monkey ass nigga. We're going to stop playing out here. We're going to tell some truths, right? We're going to stop that. You can't sit. Now it all makes sense. But when you get certain people trying to make excuses for it, oh, you don't call. Well, you don't sit up and bring a woman kid in something and hit below the belt. So all she did was hit below the belt. She's a Scorpio. She's going to hit below the belt. And I don't give a fuck if you think I'm wrong or right. It's what it is. It's tit for tat. Because she may not have meant, calling her a monkey, but shit, you a monkey, bitch. And you a blue monkey at that. And don't act like you wouldn't say nothing, because black women say worse. You may have called that woman, you old black ass stank bitch. Stop lying. Bitch, you don't talk about my son. You hoe ass purple looking, black looking, blue looking bitch. You know you black women out there allegedly. You know how evil y'all can get. You evil dark black bitch. You evil ass bitches. My mama told me about you bitches. You black as fuck. Don't you ever talk about my son. You know who you are. Sukihana. Mama D clowned that ass, huh? Some of y'all people don't get it because y'all in your feelings. Because y'all like, Mama D, you were a pimp. How can you tell her anything? She could tell her a lot. That's the point. She was a pimp. I don't want to listen to a hoe. I want to listen to the pimp because she running shit getting her money. You see what I'm saying? She trying to teach Sukihana something. Bitch, you out here doing all this. I'm trying to teach you how to pimp. But you not pimping. She's one of them pimps that get pimped. Okay? So she was disrespecting her elder for no reason, because Mama D was nothing but telling her the truth. Because my whole thing is this: you may not like Mama D, and you may not like the energies that she brought in with her son Scrappy, but Scrappy loved his mother. And you black people act like you have this sensory for pain. You can't go through pain. Shit, we all go through pain. But again, Sukihana, she was all in her feelings. Y'all talk about, yeah, she told her. No, she didn't. Because Mama D walked away. Like a pimp should. Okay? Like a pimp should. A pimp is not going to be part of that. She treated her like the hoe that she is now. See, some of you guys be like, oh, she's not really like that. Well, yeah, some people believe that Sukihana is trafficked in the industry. But the problem is that she's so busy calling Mama D old, but at least Mama D has made it to the age and probably even older, hopefully. Most of this age group is dying off like that. Like, goddamn. Where you at? Like my son, we be going back and forth. We just went back and forth over this a couple of days ago. He was up there trying to tell me that Generation Next was on crack and we all crackheads and died of crack. He's still saying it. And I said, that's not true. It's not true. I said a lot of you guys are dying from a lot of shit. It's a lot of stuff happening out here. But Sukihana is disrespectful. Yes, she is. And it is very sad. And I don't believe it's her. I believe that they tell her to do it. I don't believe that's her personality type. I refuse to believe it. I believe that the industry got her all fucked up and they got her head fucked up and she's off and on like a fucking TikTok clock. 1 minute she's on, the next minute she's off. Sometimes she talks sense and most of the time she doesn't. And Mama D is absolutely right. But for me, it's all in act because it's just a trigger. It's like a handler. Like when she was at the VMAs crawling and doing all that mess. I'm like, that shit is not good. Meanwhile, as black people out here, you got your Sexy Red, you got your Cardi B, and your Megan Thee Stallion doing weird shit. That song, Bongo or whatever, that song is phony as fuck. I believe it. It might be connected to, what is it? Almost to Babalu Bongo. I don't know what that shit's connected to because, I started thinking of other shit. And then I was looking at the Bongo video and I said, God damn, I said, that's Baby Boy Beyonce with Sean Paul. And then the hat, the clothes and all that energy. I said, oh, this shit is so whack. It's so boring. The song is whack as fuck. It's just ritualistic. That's all it is. Meanwhile, as we out here doing all of this shit, now we got white boys out here are woke and doing conscious music and a song called Big Brother, and they called it hip hop. And I guess the guy name is Aries and Tommy Vesk. And this is what's happening. The white boys are now doing conscious music as black people are doing this type of music. And they have taken away the sector of consciousness and wokeness. And now the white boys are walking into it. And they're doing music like this for their community. Okay? That's what's up. So we're up here listening to crazy ass shit of Sukihana and Sexy Red, and we're listening to Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B, and there's no food in that. It's empty. It's empty frequencies in it. Meanwhile, you have the FDA on the under discontinuing respiratory or sinus medications and so on, saying it doesn't work while you sleeping. Then you have the militia laughing at black people saying, why aren't you guys going back to your home remedies? I was just telling somebody, I said, I found it very interesting how they were making a big deal about alcohol. But alcohol, allegedly, and I'm not giving any medical advice, is like an elixir. Just like mustard greens and collard greens. And they call it pot liquor. So that means that we should be eating more of those type of greens for health and stuff like that, right? Yes, and it had your fat back and all that shit. Actually, that did not cause or raise high blood pressure. It's these processed fake foods that they're creating. They're being real sneaky with your health, aren't they? Meanwhile, we're arguing on Love and Hip Hop about being a hoe and a pimp. But again, I'd rather listen to a pimp and understand how you do what you're doing than listen to a hoe going off trying to point out to a grown-ass woman who lived and trying to tell you something. I'd rather listen to Mama D so I can get some kind of understanding. I'm not going to go off on you. I'm going to understand where you're coming from. But in this case, because Sukihana is under a frequency, we don't know. Right? When we talk woke, what the fuck as black people are we not understanding? I had no idea the connection to the cross and God and cross and Jesus was our eyeballs and the frequencies, right? I didn't connect the dots of the tissues, and it was the cross, our eyes, right? That makes sense. And our throat was connected to frequencies of voice and Mercury. But that makes sense, right? The eyeball is the planet. It is the body, soul, and spirit. Who would have known the white of the eye is the body, then your iris is the soul, and your pupil is the spirit. The three folds of nature, they call it. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about history of the German torture cult called Yazis. We don't talk about how they ran from Germany into various countries like Chile and stuff like that. Who would have known in Chicago at one time they had cactus plants? Stop playing, right? Who would have known that the stomach and intestines are connected to carnivorous plants? And we still going to say there's no spirit. I ask myself, what's the difference between diabetes and insulin resistance? Those are two different frequencies. If you can handle your insulin, would you still get diabetes? Those are two different demons, right? We're just talking. Sovereign. We got niggas out here, white people laughing at us because we over here saying we're sovereign, but we don't even know that we need an affidavit that have to be sent into what is it? They call it the repudiation or something, an affidavit. And you got to send that into where? A whole other, not Congress, but it has to be sent in somewhere. And then it has to reflect on your passport. And then apparently that's why they don't like your ass to go to court and shit like that, because you're sovereign. Oh, to the Secretary of State. You have to send an affidavit to the Secretary of State to be considered sovereign. So when niggas are out here talking about I'm sovereign, well, you ask them to card themselves, then they will be very much embarrassed because white people are laughing at them. I need to ask questions. What the fuck is going on in Louisiana that we still have stagnated water from Katrina, and we have abandoned buildings and mansions that squatters need to go and take over? Okay, what's going on in Louisiana? Why we have open cemeteries that allegedly has been damaged? Somebody asked me an interesting question. The frequencies is Louisiana. What is Louisiana on? I said vampirism. Vampirism is what Louisiana's on. Why is it in our Black history, how come we not woke? We up here burning candles and shit. Matter of fact, let me go back to that. Anne Rice was writing vampire books. She's from Louisiana, but I'm going to get to Anne Rice in a minute. But I'm saying for Louisiana, y'all need to do better. You need to take your energies back. That's why other countries are coming in, buying up everything and pushing you out. Y'all under some kind of slave shit in your head. It makes you wonder really why they're trying to get rid of our history. I was talking to a Latino guy on how in Mexico, because and this is supposed to be Hispanic month. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, I don't know what to call you, Latinx or Latinx. I don't know. I was talking to this Latino guy and I was telling him how they were saying that in Mexico there's a history of Chinese culture. He said, what the fuck are you talking about? I said, no, that's what they said. He said, hell no. He said, look, he said, there's somehow they coming into America. I don't know how they getting this money, but they having all this money to buy a property and they laugh about it. And they just buy. He said, they have nothing to do with Mexico. I said, I'm just giving you the news. You know how they cybering us, because, all of a sudden there's Chinese and they have a connection to Madagascar. You guys are around here, don't even know how to be a revolution anymore. You think you are. And sometimes you have to pull from the past to bring into the future. That's the Sankufa, right? And the bottom line is that you guys would burn all these candles for motherfuckers. You would do all this work. You would go and fuck around with Orishas, but you don't even have to fuck around with Orishas because all we have to do is pull our ancestors if you know how to do it. I'm talking about urban voodooism, right? You guys will sit up and burn candles for Aaliyah, but you have motherfuckers right in front of you. Like, for example, if you have Tammy Terrell and all the rest of them who've had a broken energy, then why aren't you burning candles for them? Why aren't you Whitney Houston? I'm just talking, right? Ella Baker. Look her up. I was listening to this young brother who has his PhD in history. You guys listen to all these other conscious niggas from these Tariq Nasheeds, I don't give a fuck on, but there's some motherfucking energy out here that can give you some real revolutionary energies, right? So look up Ella Baker so you can understand what it is when we talk revolution and being a radical. Go back to Fannie Lou. so you can understand how to be a radical woman, a radical black woman. Not this shit here, and not your Angela Davises. I'm talking about these old school black women, okay? Because Aunt Fannie Lou talks about how that American flag has black blood all on it. That's not the white flag. That's not the American flag. That is the black flag. Understand that. Understand some energies, right? I had no clue Orange County used to be black. I had no clue that Los Angeles was so fucking racist. It pushed black people out into Orange County, and black people built but had issues around 1926. They built a resort, and the white people became so distraught and angry that they burnt the motherfucker down. Who would have known? Now is all this other energy. We already know black people founded Los Angeles. And I'm like wondering, who in the fuck were the Tongans? They were Indians. They had to have been Indians. They look different now, but goddamn. This is the shit we need to study so we can have foundation. I had no clue California was separate from the United States. It was a whole separate entity. We need to study people like Velma Grant, who built a whole community, who received a $1 million, over $2 million loan from Bank of America, and hired Paul Williams, the architect. And I'm wondering, is this the architect? And I'm trying to remember who built LA Airport, or the architect. 1946. Look up those people. Understand who they are. Should a candle be burned for Fred Hampton, the real motherfucker? And I'm not talking about Huey P. Newton. I'm talking about Fred Hampton, who law enforcement murdered. They talk about Nat Turner, how they dismembered him and took his different body parts, but did they really? Because you know, white people like to keep body parts, because I heard that they kept them. I even heard with Fred Hampton, they had to have a protective energy over his headstone because law enforcement kept shooting at it. But I heard the same thing with Huey Newton's. Understand, slavery was the energies of organ trafficking. Have you guys ever heard of the African Blood Brotherhood that was founded in Harlem? I was like, I've never heard of them. They believed in separation, armed resistance. They had chapters around the world, that is. I'm talking about urban voodooism. You better know, fuck the Mauritius. We on some real American shit here. If we talk ancestors, right? Look them up. They help fight and protect, and enough is enough when the energies of Tulsa, Oklahoma happened, right? Houston riots, 1917. Camp Logan, military men. Police harassed them. They got mad. They went into, I believe, Houston. 150 of them. They killed civilians, law enforcement, and the National Guard. Louisiana. Deacons of Defense. 1964. Watts Uprising. Snipers on roofs. Civilians. Then you wonder why gun control is in effect. He talked about Betty Shabazz coming into the Bay Area, and the Black Panther Party protected them with their guns. But I thought we wasn't revolutionists. The first revolution wasn't hitting people upside the head with a damn chair, right? What you guys know about Black August? What you guys know about George Jackson, St. Quentin, part of Black Panther Party? They set him up, but he was a revolution. He got the brothers together in jail. They said Huey P. Newton looked up to him, had a respect for him. They set him up. I heard about that story, and allegedly somebody came in with a wig and a gun, and they shot him in the head, and allegedly three guards or whatever were murdered, and 2 inmates white, and the person who ran St. Quentin was like, I'm not gonna tell. They said this uprising in St. Quentin is the reason for Attica prison uprise. However, Black August makes you wonder why a lot of shit happened in August, because of the melanin men and the melanin women and the Black people who had energies. And they were talking about the death of Huey P. Newton was in August. Nat Turner uprising was in August. Fred Hampton birthday, and Marcus Garvey birthday. And also the Watts uprising, August. I guess we more than Juneteenth, motherfuckers. Yeah. California, 1848. California was not part of the United States until was not part of the United States. However, apparently in California, there wasn't any slavery or anything like that. None of that was popping off. However, something came about called the Chinese Exclusion Act. And once, I guess, California became part of the United States, they were trying it. The bottom line, what this comes down to, is it makes a lot of sense now when you have context to when they was talking about slavery in California. But the slavery was really, I believe, was really the Asians, okay? The Chinese. So we need to look further into that. Okay? We just talking, right? We're talking how urban voodooism, and we don't even know where we can pull from. You think about what's in your state where you can pull from. I'm just talking in general. Now, we understand that some of these revolutionary groups were tied into some frequencies, but when I heard about the Saltwater Railroad, I said, then what the fuck is the Underground Railroad? The Saltwater Railroad, they say, was 1819 in Florida, where, again, apparently Florida was not part of the United States. And so, hey, I'm learning. I'm just learning. And so I'm like, whoa. So anyway, when that happened, they said, and we're going to say, not the slaves, but the Black Indians said, fuck you. I know what's going to happen. And they bounced and made it across to the Caribbean islands. They make you think they just came from Africa and they fell in the Caribbean islands. No, there were people already here in the United States who knew the what's up and bounced and left the United States and went to Caribbean islands, which they called that the Saltwater Railroad. So it makes me rethink the Underground Railroad, because you know some of the Underground Railroad was also torturous, right? That they was hiding people in tunnels. That's why they were saying that a lot of the tunnels allegedly in DC have been allegedly blown up or whatever, because DC has a lot of underground energy. So it makes you rethink, wait a minute, what's happening here? Because what I heard, especially about that Saltwater Railway, it was the Indians who bounced into these Caribbean islands and stuff like that. Okay? If we're going to talk Hispanic month, we might as well talk the Black president, Vincent Guerrero of Mexico, and the river of Rio Grande and what that means. In my opinion, I think we need to keep these white people for now out of Africa because I don't know what the fuck is going on. I think the diets of African people are off. Something is weird. I'm seeing more African people eating pastas, rice, Chinese rice. This white boy went to Nigeria and was very insulting. And he said Nigerians love their bread and butter. That is slavery. And he said they love their white bread and butter. And everything he was eating was starchy and hard. I said, that's not the authentic food. And this is supposed to be street food. I like to know what is going on in Africa, Nigeria, and so on, that they up there cooking all the spaghetti shit. I understand Italy is right there, but that's not your original foods of eating all those starches like that, which is turning into sugar, which is turning into diabetes, because there's also a high increase of insulin resistance equaling diabetes in Africa too now because of all this sugar and white food. And so we have to kind of like, what is that energy? And I see where in some energies that some African people are stopping white people from entering into their village due to trafficking, murder of children and adults. But I feel they don't only need to stop them, they need to stop a whole lot of people. I'm just talking of some of these energies that's popping off here. In California, they're going to add, especially in Los Angeles, these new speed cameras to watch you and to give you a ticket. What you think about that? It's like nobody has to say, but you have a lot to say. You better start watching. They're now saying DNA tests are fake. It doesn't tell you what your ethnicity is. It can connect you to your family bloodline allegedly, but they cannot tell your ethnicity or what tribe you came from. I was looking at some energies of 9/11. We better start peeping 9/11. Something's up about that whole energy. And when you start to listen to the recordings, everything was 3, 3, 3, 3, horror. Then one woman said that ex-firefighter came to the morgue with bones of his son. How would you know? We better start looking at that. And the energies behind it, how, and I mean 9/11 for real, and then to understand the calculations of it, how it was connected to World War I, how it ended on the 11th month at 11 a.m., how New York has 11 letters, 11 state of and New York is also the 11th state of the Union. Both the World Trade Center had 110 floors. The World Trade Center looked like an 11. It's like little simple shit. And I'm like, yeah, they're right. They showed how people just kept jumping into firefighters, trauma base. But everything, even the time of 8:48, plane 11, I mean, everything was orchestrated. I went back and listened to Prince 1999. That man was telling us what the fuck was going to happen. I was listening to they was recording the cafe in the World Trade Center called the Greenhouse Cafe. Who would be recording what in the cafe? And if it went down, how would you still have the recording? And my question is that how is everybody recording? We didn't have these type of cell phones back then. How would people know to have all their every time you look, somebody was angling and had a camera to get everything before it happened. When you listen to a lot of the phone calls to families, they're questionable. Listen to Muhammad, what's his name? Whatever his name is. At 8:33, flight 11, listen to it. 30 people, 100th floor. Third announcement. I'm on the 83rd floor. Go back and listen. People are saying that India really didn't land on the moon. That's a fake ass movie. They're saying Adam Walsh, the one who did what's it called? Not Unsolved Mysteries. What is it? America's Most Wanted. They saying that he is the one who had his son kidnapped, and his daughter's telling the truth now, saying that he set it up. Adam Walsh. Read about it. How come we're not talking about, I was listening to this story of this woman. She was talking about how in prison, people are not getting paid for their creativity. So she was saying that she was in a women's prison. And she said that someone told her to come out into the yard, that she had something to show her. The woman had something in a manila envelope or something like that. Open it up. She's telling her that she's the one who wrote that movie called Devil, but her energy was called Elevator. It was a program that they have in the jail system that people, I guess, writes and so on. So apparently that guy called, what's his name? Nai Shaman, that he's that Indian director he stole the story from a woman in jail who wrote it. So apparently in jail, people be in there writing books and shit. They take the books and shit from them, their stories, and then publish it, but don't give them the money. How many fucking movies have we been watching that we have people in jail from women prison, men prison, even juvenile, that they're stealing their whole frequencies, not paying them. We're watching it in Hollywood. How do I know the Return of the Jedi? Somebody didn't write that shit. Somebody was telling me like that Anne Rice vampire books. She didn't write that shit. They saying most of these books are not written by these individuals, and it's not even about people, being behind the scenes writing shit. They saying literally 90% of books and movies are coming out the prison, just like the music. Okay? Then you wondering why they invest in the prison system. Then you wondering why they're up there locking up so many of our people, because a lot of the creativity is coming from our copper mines. Okay? Shit. That's where you get a lot of the good spell work from prison. I can guarantee you that fucking much. And then Tasha K had that fake ass witch up there talking about Beyonce and all these other people, what they do in their occult life. I'm so tired of these ranch bitches who are nothing but fake ass witches and tarot readers and all that shit. Anything I see on Tasha K, I already know they're part of the ranch. That woman is not a real occultist. She is a created energy from the ranch. And we already know Beyonce is somewhere on the moon. Okay? Beyonce is not a witch. She's just not. Okay? It's just some other shit going on there. We all know it. And we're going to stop fooling around with these people. Now you have her swirling around social media, people thinking she's a witch or whatever that is. No. It's called pimps up, hoes down type of energy. It's called fake ass shit. It's called bullshit. That's why people don't take us seriously in occultism, because we got whole ass shit like that. Then you got other people taking bits. Now you have Christian people want to point out that bullshit. How does the Cresleys, who's in federal prison, get their time shortened on the same energies? How about that shit with, was it that 70s show, that Danny guy? How the fuck did he get 30 years to life? And now what's the name of him who went and, backed him up and wrote? He had to step down from that children shit, so they about to be on his asshole. I said, that's supposed to be in private. They really not supposed to reveal who wrote letters. Of course he wrote a letter. But my question is, why did he get 30 years to life of an old rape case? And I'm not being rude, I'm being real. Because that means women who are civilians should be able to come back at their rapists, and they should also get the same time. No, he's the sacrifice for something. He just got sacrificed for something. And what the fuck is going on with Ice Spice? What's she scared of? Why was she about to get her ass kicked in some kind of way that it looked like something's going on? Was something going on with her and Nicki Minaj? Or what? Afro B Selena Gomez? What's going on with Taylor Swift? What the fuck is going on with the VMAs? Nicki Minaj was up there AIing it. Remy Ma got clowned like fuck at a battle rap. They let her ass have it. She was there with that Jeezy that Jeezy dude. That Jeezy dude, I don't know, but he was at that Easy dude, but he clowned her over Papoose. I said, well, goddamn. We got to do better out here, right? We got to get off this bewitchery shit, right? Daniel Adora, that police officer who ran over that Indian girl, he laughed and said no, she was a regular person. I need to ask, what does that mean? Is he a henchman? He ran over the Indian girl, kept it going, laughed about it to whosoever, cut her a check. She ain't worth it anyway, in so many words. But she's a regular one. Anyway, oh, and Shirley Strawberry, did y'all listen to that shit? I don't know what type of games is going on there, but and then they said that was a recording from 2022, but wasn't that man arrested in 2023? So how long was he really arrested? How long his ass been in jail? And then he went and called his side chick. Shirley Strawberry better go on and divorce that nigga, because she got her truck taken. Divorce that nigga. He done. Because they think they're trying to pull her in shit. I think Steve Harvey did it. I think he told. I think he snitched her out. You know, they said Sexy Red looked like Young Thug. In the name of Jesus. Anyway, this is Weird Renegade Witches Blog. Hit us up when you want some real motherfucking work done.